the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. The Hornets come in off a critical Game 1 win and are now poised and prepared as they attempt to take a 2-0 lead against the Pistons. Round 1 of the NBA playoffs continues.
Round 1 of the East rolls on. Game 2 just about ready to tip off. Playoff basketball on 2K Sports. With Stan Van Gundy and Greg Anthony and Allie LaForce on our sideline, I'm Kevin Harlan. Looking now at the lineups for both teams tonight. Some names out of action.
Yeah, and in the postseason, you'd love to be at full strength, but neither team is, and they've just got to deal with it.
And a look at the starters for the Hornets. They've got Jason Tatum, Damian Lillard out there with Michael Jordan, and there's Hastings, and it's Anthony in at the small forward position. And for Detroit, Duncan is out there with Moses Malone. Then it's Magic Johnson. Then there's Gerber, and it's McGrady in at the 2-guard spot. You look at Detroit. You know, you can't always say this is a must-win game, but
Carry some teams in this bad win in their first two games. I'm not saying they can't be good, but we're going to test that theory.
Releases from the Brady defense. Drummond's got the opportunity to contest. Well, he's such a dynamic
Go ask Digger.
And getting the offense started with a high-quality look down low.
And now, we'll send it over to our correspondent reporter, Alan.
Coach told me that Tatum is just about as good as anyone in the current plans. So we just asked the players to play to their strengths, saying if they need to make switches, he's willing to let them know because the coach is unless he can consistently play the same way. Back to you.
Allie, we thank you for that. Here's Brady, following the score by Damian Lillard. That one's not
Beautiful offense there. Creates time again.
Malone sets the pick for Johnson. On the wing, pass connected. Right to McGrady. And it is the Pistons missing.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Moments once again, but this time we're going to be talking about the conversation that's going on after the beta has concluded. So many people got their hands on it. So many people now are giving their takes. What do they think? What do they like? What do they dislike? I did a version of that 2 days ago in a video that I uploaded where I was talking about how much fun I had, how incredible it is. I also tackled in another video the next day all of the problems that the game was experiencing. I play on PlayStation, not necessarily PC, so I was completely unaware to all of the things that the game was getting hit by, all of the issues, the crashes, etc. And I think it was worth highlighting that aspect of the beta because it's important that they fix all of that so that the game can launch and be as good as it can. But now we're moving on to the third part of this conversation, which is after the fact. The first issue that I want to highlight, and I have a couple of here from content creators, pro players, etc. The first one here, this one says Marvel Tokon is not Draft Ball Z Fighters, Marvel Tokon is not NBC3, Marvel Tokon is not to a scale, Marvel Tokan is not SM6. Marvel Tokan is not Avatar. Marvel Tokan is Marvel Tokan. Soon as y'all realize that not every fighter needs to play the same, you'll learn to enjoy new things for what they are. I thought this tweet was really interesting because something that I noticed just generally looking at social media is that a lot of people were comparing to previous games. And yes, I understand that art system works on a lot of other games and people kind of have their own ideas of what they expect the game to be like before getting their hands on it. But at the same time, you do have to understand that this is a totally new IP. This is Marvel Tokan, a game that never existed before. All of those other Marvel games was made by Capcom and whatnot. Yes, it's important to use those other fighting games as kind of like a benchmark of like how like quality of life, you know, what type of mechanics are there, what type of features are there. I think I even did a version of that as well where I was talking about if the game is laggy, it should let you leave out like Tekken and Street Fighter 6 does. Those are good complaints. But like when you're just sitting there and you're talking about how it doesn't feel like Street Fighter and you hate it, or it doesn't like this game and you hate it, I don't feel like that's a fair critique because you can't just make Street Fighter a game. You have to make your own game. You have to make your own IP. You have to try to make your own thing. Games have to be different, even if they are part of the same genre, same characters, and even the same system. You gotta make it feel different. A funny tweet that I saw, this one comes from Julia. Julia says, so now that the beta is over, which content creators take are we adopting for Tokan? I need to know how to feel. And this is another interesting one as well because yes, content creators do have a type of influence. They can highlight issues that you didn't know existed. They can say things about the game that you never really thought about. And it can really alter the way that you think about the game. We've seen this happen at times where it's totally justified, and we've seen this happen at times where it's totally unjustified. But I think what's interesting about Marvel Tokan is that the opinions surrounding this game is kind of like even. It's kind of fair. The people who dislike the game, excluding a reason that I listed out just a second ago, but people have really good criticism of the game. People have really good ideas about the game, good and bad. Marvel Tokan is way too much fun. I'm addicted. Nothing there to add. It's just genuine love for the game. I do think that there's something there with the game that's fun, that's enjoyable. Me, I'm not the biggest person when it comes to team fighting games, and I played a lot of 2D in the past, but that mostly revolved around Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. So this one was kind of like a totally new experience for me. And I had so much fun learning and evolving. The gameplay you guys are probably watching was hysterical, but I had a lot of fun, and I'm committed to like buying the game, playing more, and just trying to not necessarily get better, but just continue having fun. And I love that there's people out there who are just embracing it in that sense. Just like, this is a fun game, this is a good time for fighting games, and I love this. One person who doesn't like the game, and they made it loud and clear, Sonic Fox. FGC Sintel, this is the Twitter account that basically does memes and they just post like troll and they just lie. And it's kind of like an inside joke. A lot of people get got by this, but a lot of the times it's actually true. Like for example here, when FGC Sintel posted, Sonic Fox calls Marvel Tokan the worst fighting game of all time. And it's a screenshot of Sonic Fox typing in someone's chat. When this first was posted, everyone thought it was trash and everyone thought it was just a lie. But it turned out to actually be true. We'll read that in just a second. One thing that I did want to point out is how Sonic Fox has some of the biggest haters on the planet. Someone said there's no broken characters for him to abuse. That's crazy, bro. I remember when Sonic Fox tried, well, basically any game, but for this example, Tekken. And people were saying the same thing, like, no, he doesn't like the game because there's no broken characters for him. But it's like, bro, Sonic Fox is getting slandered. He's the GOAT though, bro. He's like one of the best fighting game players to ever do it. But also, when we talk about content creators and players influencing others, with how knowledgeable and skilled he is, when he's going hard on the game, it could have an impact. Look at the response. Sonic Fox says, this is the first time on this account where I did actually say this, and people are getting baited otherwise. I just think the beta needs way more work still, since main decisions don't make a lot of sense. It feels like I'm constantly fighting the game, and I hate that. Further explanation says, the thing about Tokan isn't a character issue for what it's worth. It's a mechanical one. The characters are genuinely pretty interesting, just heavily restricted by the game itself. That sounds like a very, very, very specific type of problem, and I wish there was more of an explanation here from Sonic Fox as to what problems there is in the systems of the game, because I did see a lot of people say similar things about this, where like the game feels weird, the characters were aware. Some people were even talking about the control schemes and the button layouts, and there's a lot of interesting complaints. And I wonder, with the game releasing so soon, will the developers be able to incorporate, any of this, how much of this? But then also you got to take into consideration the people who are having fun, like Trump. Trump is currently addicted to the game. Sonic Fox dislikes it. Who do you listen to there? How do you try to adjust the game without ruining something but make a Sonic Fox experience better? What do you think about Sonic Fox saying the game feels slow and has no mix? Anytime Sonic says a game doesn't have mix and everything like that, he wants the mix to be the way he likes the mix. Why do you want every game to have the same mix? Yeah, Sonic wants restand, he wants unsequel mix-ups. And I'm like, bro, every game doesn't have to play the same. You know what? Because he likes Avatar. Avatar's a godlike game, but Avatar is very mix-heavy, very similar to Skullgirls. Well, you see there was definitely a long take on what Sonic Fox said. It kind of goes back to the original tweet that I started off with, where a lot of the reasons why people dislike this game is because it doesn't play like another game that they really like. And that's the thing. Is that a fair complaint or is it not? Is it something that developers should ignore? You guys comment down below and let me know. And while you're down there, if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe, turn on notifications, like the video, and also type the video. Mikey says on Twitter, at high level, we're going to see some wacky things in Pokemon. I can't wait. This is kind of tackling another issue, where the game tried to set restrictions on how long combos could be, and players found a way around that, and they could do some super crazy combos. But then not only that, players are coming up with some very interesting setups, techniques, tag mechanics. The game is getting really, really interesting in just 3 days of the beta. So when it releases and players really start going crazy, it's going to be interesting to see what type of tech is created, because it seems like some of the things were not originally planned by the developers. And whenever that happens, the developers get rid of it as soon as possible. Unless you're like Tekken, and then the mechanic becomes one of the primary hallmarks of the game, and then that kind of defines what it means to be a good player. Moving on, you have Justin Walker who says, Pokemon is so much more fun now once I started tagging. The tag system is something I have to do more of as well. I was more so trying to get a grip of the mechanics and learn the character's ways, but yeah, tagging is going to be a big part of this game. You have Save Down say, Pokemon is a blast, and I think few system changes / cleanups away from being a super sick game. And even though Save Down is loving the game there, you see just the emphasis on cleaning up the systems and changing the mechanics of it. And then lastly, we'll circle back to Sonic Fox, which says, Spider-Man is solving a lot of issues I'm having with Pokemon though. I'll say that much. Even on the first tweet that I read from Sonic Fox, you can see that they were kind of like not liking the game pretty much at all. Really. After further experimentation, Spider-Man is starting to hit home with them, and they're loving the game just a little bit more.
Hi, excuse me, Miss, hello. What if I told you I could get you some money right now? I would believe you. Okay, let's get out your phone, download the app called Bridget. Okay, they're going to give you up to $250 in under 2 minutes with no credit check or interest. Oh my gosh, I got it. Hi, my name's Cassandra, and Bridget to show you the money. Head on over to the GoPuff app and you can get an organic dozen of eggs for $2. Here's the eggs that I got for $2 each, delivered right to my door in 15 minutes from GoPuff.